Alright, I'm back for standard Pauper Deck-Tech using my Metalhawk deck that I took to second place in MPDC 11-14. This is game 2, game 1. Let's go ahead and get things going. Looks like my opponent chooses to play first and has to mulligan to 6. I'm looking at this. This is kind of a greedy keep. It's certainly 4 land, 3 spell, which isn't great. Don't have one of my colors. It would be a difficult one to keep, but I end up keeping it anyway. I think having that 1 card advantage over my opponent since he mulliganed, and I don't have to. In fact, since he's on the play, it's almost a 2 card advantage. Figure it's worth the risk of only having one of my colors. I have lots of different ways of getting red mana in this deck, so I wasn't too worried about it. So let's go ahead and see. My opponent plays on an island. I hate seeing islands early because it means I got to watch out for counter spells, but that's what happens. Here I draw a swamp. Probably the worst land draw I could possibly get, but hey, it is a land. Not that with a 4 land open I really need another land. So not a great first draw, but certainly not the worst thing could happen. Opponent finds a prism, so at least I don't have to worry about counter spells. But he's drawing fast. And then, unfortunately, here I have a misclicked. I F6 my way through my whole second turn, drew a Glenhawk, and end up not even developing my board. Really, just a boneheaded, stupid mistake that I made here. But unfortunately, you learn in games. These kinds of things happen, and you can get mad. You can, slam your hand down on the keyboard or whatever, but the best thing to do is just let it go. Nothing you can do about it, and just see if you can still catch up and play anyway, but certainly is a big loss. Now here my opponent's able to bounce a Prophetic Prism with a core Skyfisher, which of course is one of the things this deck tries to do. Great opening move. Now he's really starting to generate some card advantage and really making up for what he was able to what he lost by having the mulligan one. So here, find a Spell Bomb here, which is actually pretty good. Go ahead and bounce it with the Glenhawk. Now, usually you want to wait to really bounce something of value with a Glenhawk, but since he's got a core Skyfisher out, I really felt like it was important to go ahead and get a creature out of my own, and that will allow me, if he's going to start attacking, to swing back without worrying too much. At least that was my thought at the time. And so return that to my hand, and we'll keep going here. So my opponent goes ahead and swings in, obviously. Nothing I can really do there. Plays out his Prism again and leaves himself up. Now here I can think it could be 2 things. It's black-blue, could easily be a Doomblade. Unfortunately, it could also be a Mana Leak. So that's certainly a consideration as I'm coming here. Find a Teetering Peaks. And here I think it makes sense to just go ahead and, well, let's see, I just go ahead and swing in, decided not to play it. Had the temptation there to go ahead and play it, but was worried that he would just Doomblade it, and I would waste the Teetering Peaks. In retrospect, I think I might have just gone ahead and done it there and made him use the Doomblade. I don't really know what I would have lost by doing that. Certainly it's nice to have the 3 mana development so that I'm able to do different things with my mana, and looks like that's what I was thinking, is that I wanted to get the Censor out. But he does, in fact, have the counter spell here. Uses a Deprive. Now, Deprive really hurts. You've really got to feel like you're getting some pretty good value at it, because it forces him to bounce a land back into his hand to do it. But certainly the Necrogen Censor can be a really powerful part of this deck and really drain an opponent really fast. I don't know if that was really worth using a Deprive on, but that's what he did. Certainly wastes my entire turn, which is very good for him. But does allow me to catch back up on mana development now, so that, that certainly is something you've got to keep in mind when using Deprive. Opponent finds a 4C here, though, so now he's really starting to generate some pretty major card advantage on me, and can continue to swing in with that Skyfisher. Again, doesn't have any other immediate development, so now I can go ahead and use that Teetering Peaks and really get in and guarantee that I'm going to get in with the damage, which is nice. So do that, hit for 4 here, which is nice. Kind of, I'm actually staying ahead now of the curve a little bit as far as damage, and then can run out the Spell Bomb and bounce it back with the core Skyfisher. So I've got 2 pretty powerful flyers on the board, and actually at this point, other than the fact my opponent is ahead in card advantage, I'm really not doing too badly at this point. So that feels good. So here my opponent, let's see what he's got for me in store. This time he finds a Doomblade, of course, get rid of that Skyfisher, and can swing in, which is unfortunate, and leaves a bunch of mana untapped. Could mean a lot of different things, but usually isn't good. So here, have some different options. Obviously going to swing in with the Glenhawk, and he has yet another Doomblade to get rid of it. Here I go ahead and play out both the Perilous Mirror and the Metalhawk replica. Makes sense just trying to develop my board. Now this is a little bit of a risk because if he destroys the replica before I'm able to use its special ability to draw cards, it's almost a wasted card. I mean, playing a 2/2 for 3 is really, I mean, even in Pauper that's just not a good deal. You really want to be doing better than that. But the fact that he's already played 2 Doomblades, it makes it unlikely he's really going to have another one. So here he's got to develop his board, or I'm going to be continue to hit for major damage. And he, of course, finds, Sanctifiers and blows up that replica. Really painful, and now I'm really back on my heels. And it's looking pretty difficult for this game for me to pull a win out here. But we have to press on. I'll find another Perilous Mirror. Go ahead and play out that Spell Bomb. It's possible that he's got, I haven't seen any Graveyard Recursion yet, but certainly expected to be in here. And now it does turn on my Galvanic Blast, so in case I need that, I certainly can do it. And in fact, I go ahead and use it on that, of course, Skyfisher before it's able to do any more real damage to me. And then I go ahead and swing him with the Perilous Mirror, seeing if he wants to trade. He declines to trade with it, and I pass the turn back. So then my opponent goes on, goes ahead and finds the Scorpion. Now this again is just a key part of this Esper deck and is able to get some decent value out of him. Now here, the nice thing about Perilous Mirrors is if they get blown up by Scorpions, you're still going to get value out of them. I'm at least able to damage my opponent and get in some kind of value out of it. So really it diminishes the extra value that he gets out of that Scorpion, although he essentially forces me to use it at a certain time, and that's good for him. So it's still a good play, but not as good as just killing it. Just drawing off the top now, hoping to find something, find a Prophetic Prism, which is good if I'm able to bounce it, but all I unfortunately find is a Plains. So I'm not able to really do anything here. No real reason to swing in with the Perilous Mirror when he can then just swing back for 4 would clearly be a mistake. And at least this way I can have some kind of defense in case he swings in, which of course he does. I'm able to block and then just go ahead and trade with the Scorpion, get that back off the board. Unfortunately, with the Spell Bomb, I don't have to worry about any kind of Graveyard Recursion, and he finds a Crossroads to just really push his life up. Now here, I'm thinking, man, I just really got to draw something. He's got several creatures in there that I would hate to see recurred, so I just go ahead and pop the Spell Bomb while I've got the mana, and unfortunately, all I can find is yet another land. So that's really not pretty. And then to add insult to injury, I draw yet another land. And at this point, 3 lands in hand, way behind on board development. I mean, not a single creature to be had. I mean, this game's over. There's really, it would have been a miracle to pull anything out at this point. So my opponent just swings in, pops the Terramorphic, and passes the turn back. I draw a Prism, which, it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I could draw something out of this, right? I mean, I at least have a chance to find something, and I draw yet another land. Really, just like, really, Shuffler, really, thanks. Thanks so much. Not that my opponent has a ton on the board either, but I'm low on life. And now that he's found that Squadron Hawks, it's over. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep up and to do anything against the relentless army of Squadron Hawks. So I just go ahead and go ahead and concede the game. So that's game 2, and I'll see you back in a minute for game 3 of the match.